What's up, hockey fam, and welcome to another podcast of Dump and Skate. I'm Jeremy Abdu, and I am with the C League nanny, the producer, and my co-host and great guy, Jeremy Holland.
Oh, man. I love the nanny title. It's really, really good. So what's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all shapes, sizes, and flavors? We're super happy and excited to have you on with us again today. Doing a lot of recording here, trying to get a lot of episodes out as much as we can. I got a big week coming up this week. The kids are off on spring break. I'm excited. I think I'm going to take a day or two off. I think the wife wants us to go to the beach one day. May take another day off and spend some time with my oldest boys. Just do some hanging out with the boys a little bit. And I got a little bit of hockey coming up this week. So should be a nice week. How about you, buddy?
So wait a second. You're losing weight, and all of a sudden you want to show off your beach bod?
No, the wife planned this trip. Planned this trip, so maybe it's the wife wants to show off the beach bod. Who knows?
So Holland is down 15 pounds, maybe.
Probably a little, maybe not quite 15 right now after Easter lunch and all.
All right, at the peak, you're down 15 pounds in 5 weeks. He had Chick-fil-A yesterday. So I told him, when he sent me his first log, his food journal, it was nothing but Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. This guy could have. Our goal is not for him to lose weight, but for him to get us a private jet instead of Chick-fil-A. So my week, just a standard week. We have a game tomorrow night with the Zeros, 9:30 against the Sprints. We had them on yesterday. Great podcast and good people.
Yeah. Good interview. People. Good question. Good question, Abdu. Good question.
He was.
I love you, Zach. I love you, Zach.
I got a text from Lindsay right after. Sorry, Zach was so serious.
No. I think when they saw the backdrops and they saw the boom arm on the mic and the headphones, they were like, "Whoa, these guys are taking this really seriously." So can't get too mad at them for matching our energy. And I love Zach's professionalism. I'm here for it all day long. I was a huge fan of how he reacted and acted on the show. I thought he did really good.
He did. Personally, both did. Both did. And her hair was great. Great hair.
She wakes up that way.
So for the people or the person, or only person, maybe two people that listen to our podcast,
we're gonna have to get away from that. You got to talk a different way about that.
All right, for all the millions of people that are listening to our podcast, you may have heard them mention something about a prank. So we're just going to go into this. I am one of those guys. First of all, my personality, I'm a class clown. I just love to have fun, make people laugh. That's just who I am. My mom always said, the whole purpose of me being on this planet, one of them is to make people laugh and bring joy to their life. So for about 10, 15 years now, I've always tied people's jackets or their sleeves or their pants in a knot when they're not looking. So when you try to put your arm through the sleeve, it's in a knot. Try to, put like your leg through your pants, tie it in a knot. And I brought that from Chicago down to Savannah, and you were my very first person that I did that I brought my love from Chicago, that prank down here. You were the first person I did. Do you remember the first time I did that to you?
I remember trying to put my pants on, and I remember not being able to put my foot through, and I was like, what the heck? What idiot tied my freaking pants legs in a knot?
Did you actually use the term idiot?
Yeah, and I was like, what kind of moron did this? At first, I was like, I didn't even think it was you. I think I tried to blame it on Ponton. And I was like, why would Ponton tie my pants in a knot? And so I think I actually complained to you about it. You were like, oh, yeah, I got you. And I was like, wait, what? Oh.
So then I did that to Lindsay. I did that to Lindsay a couple times. But there's been a few times where it's been pulled off on me. And you did it to me so bad that after my game, you tied both my pant legs in a knot. And I tried to put my pants on, and I fell. Like, I caught myself, and I fell. So, taste my own medicine. I'd like to think that my pranks go nothing further than that. There's I draw the line with my pranks, but this is where we come to the big one. Like I've had pranks pulled on me, um, but what we're about to talk about right now is the best prank in Abdu history, probably in men's league hockey in Chicago and in Savannah.
It's a young history in Savannah, so there's time to up this prank. So just stay around. Maybe we can get you a better way than just this one. But there's a little more back. So like there's a little more setup to this, anyways. So your team, the Zeros, had played Lindsay's team,
Mm-hmm.
the Griffins, on a Thursday night, right? And
Yes.
there was an exchange between you and Lindsay that actually kind of led to that. That was the beginning of this prank that we're going to talk a little bit about today.
Yeah. So, first of all, the Griffins and I have a great relationship. I sub with them. Doug Scott always asks for me to play with them, which I just found out yesterday in the podcast. I mean, I know that he wanted me to play with them, but I have a good relationship with them. It's not like it's banter or like trash talking in a malicious way. Lindsay is a very physical player for someone that's 5'2". So I was skating right by the goalie. I ended up in the crease. The whistle blew, not because of the crease violation, probably because the goalie stopped it, I believe. Anyways, the ref goes, 27, be careful. That's a crease violation. I'll have to call you next time. And he goes, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. She's bigger than me. And someone just threw this out there, and it wasn't even me. You calling her fat? You calling her fat? And I go, oh, no, I didn't call her fat. And then Lindsay, being Lindsay, played it off as like, yeah, you called me fat. And I just went into a very, like, Lindsay, I didn't call you fat. For like about 2 or 3 shifts, I go, Lindsay, like every time I'd skip her, Lindsay, I'm just kidding around. She's like, just play the game. Just play the game. I'm like, oh, man, come on. Lindsay, I'm just kidding around. And then even at the end of the game, during the game, she's like, I know you're just kidding. I know you're just kidding. And even at the end of the game where we all hung out, I go, Lindsay, I was just kidding. She's like, if it was anybody but Abdu, I would have just left it. But I had to milk it for a little bit. And it just sunk. It sunk in. I was like, oh, thank you. And left it. I thought it was, I thought it was, it was just done. We moved on from that.
Yeah, so the first I heard of it was post game. I was walking out of the facility with you, and Lindsay and Zach were both standing right outside of the exit door. And Lindsay started right in with, "Oh man, so I'm bigger than you, huh? I'm bigger than you," and kind of jabbing you about it. And I was like, "What is this about?" So I heard the full story. I kind of got the joke, and like I said, Lindsay was giving you a little bit about it, kind of giving you a hard time, but you could tell Lindsay understood. You definitely didn't mean anything. There was no negative intent in it, right? So that was on a Thursday night. The following Monday, I've been having to fill in for one of the 40-plus teams due to some injuries. And Lindsay and Zach, as we found out talking with them, are both playing in the 40-plus league. And so post-game, same kind of thing, hanging out in the parking lot, chatting, hanging out with the boys. Lindsay gets to talking, and she says, hey, look, she said, we got to get the directors to send a message to Abdu that just give him a hard time about saying whatever he said to Lindsay. And I said, yeah, no, he can. I was like, I'll send him a text message. She said, no. It can't come from you. She's like, he'll know it's a joke if it's coming from you. It's got to come from Dwight. So Dwight is, if you don't know much about the league, there are 3 of us that kind of act as directors, Dwight Winters, myself, and then Andy Ponton. And so the league that I kind of keep the closest eye on is C League. And Dwight and Andy and I all kind of work together on A and 40-plus. But Dwight is the active, if there's a, rubber meets the road type issue for directors, Dwight is the guy that the email is going to come from. He is the direct line of communication back to the parent organization that's kind of in charge of all this. So Lindsay said, it's got to come from Dwight. Abdu will know it's serious if it's coming from Dwight. So that's what we set out to do. So the prank was launched from Lindsay. Again, the whole idea is let's just kind of mess with Abdu and tell him, hey, somebody kind of complained about you making some weight comments, right? Well, so I'm gonna pull my phone and read the email that got sent, right? So Dwight, Andy, and I have a group chat where we can kind of talk through things that are going on across leagues. For the most part, it's a pretty dry group chat, not a lot of, cutting up and chatter in there. It's pretty straightforward. There's, like I said, it's a director's group chat. So it's a lot of business conversations about schedules and disciplinary things and stuff like that. And so I fired off the next day on a Tuesday morning and said, hey, we got to work through a couple of issues here. I was like, also, as a side note, I said, as a pure joke, here's what happened. Here's what Abdu said. Here's how Lindsay, jokingly took it. I said, if we could just draft up a quick email that just says like, hey, won't be tolerated. Complaints come through. You got to knock it off type thing. And so Dwight says, hey, yeah, no problem. So within about an hour, I see the email go out on my phone. And within, I don't know, 2 minutes of the email going out, I get a phone call from Abdu. So I said, I got to go read the email. Of course, I ignored the phone call because I knew it was coming in, and I knew I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face without laughing because I knew something was up. And the whole joke was that Lindsay kind of knew it was going, so we wanted Lindsay to be able to deliver the punchline, right? And so as soon as the email goes, I send Lindsay a text and say, hey, Linz, email just sent, be on the lookout. I think I may have even forwarded it to her so she could read it. And it's a lot of radio silence. It's Abdu saying like, hey, have you seen? I said, hey, I can't talk right this second. What's up? Oh man, what's up with the email? I said, I don't know. I have to look at it. So I peel open my emails and I read, and this is the email that Dwight sent out. Mr. Abdu, we're writing to inform you that we have received reports of your harassment of other hockey players. Specifically on Monday, March 11th, 2024, you were found to have engaged in behavior and comments regarding a female player in the league, degrading their appearance and weight, which is unacceptable and goes against the values and standards of our league. Paragraph number 1. Paragraph 2, please be advised that this is your first and only warning. Further harassment of any kind, including but not limited to fat shaming, sexual harassment, discrimination, or retaliation, will not be tolerated and will result in disciplinary action up to and including termination of the privilege of participating in the hockey league. Paragraph 3, we take all reports of harassment seriously and are committed to maintaining a safe and respectful environment for all players. If you have any questions or concerns about the USA Hockey harassment policy, please speak with your captain or Jeremy Holland. Last paragraph, number 4, we expect all players to comply with our harassment policy and to treat their fellow players with respect. We are confident that you will take the necessary steps to correct your behavior and comply with our policy moving forward. Sincerely, the commissioner. Now, when I stopped and read that, I realized this is way more than just a couple of sentences like I asked Dwight to send. I found out later what Dwight did was hopped on the old Google and just Googled sexual harassment letters and literally copied and pasted. He spent less time than I thought he did on it and just kind of plugged in some things for hockey stuff. So this is the email that had you in like a pure hot panic, right?
So we talk on the phone multiple times a day, and it's very rare that you don't answer one of my calls or vice versa. When you didn't answer it, that made it even worse. And then I've always said this. I sent you a text and I go, is this a joke? And you go, is what a joke? And I go, read your email. And then you go, hold on. So that hold on even added on more time to my anxiety. I was working on a project that had to be sent out. There was a deadline. I had forehead sweat. I took off my hat. And then you go, oh, wow, I'll talk to Dwight. Sounds kind of serious. And I go, you're not messing with me, are you? And is it okay if I tell everybody, like what I said, that you're
Go ahead.
So Jeremy Holland is also a youth pastor, and I did not think that a youth pastor would lie to me. And he goes, no, it's not a joke. Sounds serious.
Didn't say not a joke. You said, are you messing with me? And I said, no.
No.
I said, no.
He said no. So I took his word because I didn't think he would lie to me. And then I'm like, oh, man. So then I get the diarrhea feels in my stomach, and I just, stomach is just going. I send Lindsay a text. Lindsay, are you guys, is this a prank? Nothing. And what's weird is she just texted me a little bit before the email was sent out. So I thought we were cool. And I go, Lindsay, I'm just, whatever I said last week was, I meant you were stronger than me. So then I text Cooch. I sent him, Cooch is my captain for the Zeros. You guys heard us talk about him. Great guy. Do you have Cooch's email also?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. So
right. I was going to say, do you have my email, my reply back?
Yeah, so I've got your email reply back that came, I don't know, probably within 15, 20 minutes?
Not soon enough on my end.
I was looking through the timestamps. So yeah, so I started to panic because I too had messaged Lindsay and was like, hey, the email's been sent. You want to go ahead and send the punchline like we got you? and it's just radio silence, like nothing from Lindsay. I'm not hearing anything, and so I start to panic a little bit. I'm like, man, I know this is messing with Jeremy pretty good. I was like, it'd be really good if we could just go ahead and let it end here. Meanwhile, I've got Dwight and Andy in the director's chat who are like, hey, how long is this going to go on? Because they're just like innocent bystanders that just, you know, sent the worst worded letter you could possibly do.
Well,
So Abdu fires off an email back to all of us and said, league commissioners, I didn't even play on Monday, March 11th, which is true. He had played on the Thursday. So I thought that was a little bit odd that he didn't pick up on that. But he did volunteer. I believe you're referring to Thursday, March 7th against the Griffins, and then goes into the whole story. I got called for a crease violation against Lindsey Sprint, who is a friend, and lets me sub on their team when needed. That's when I knew like Abdu was panicking because he's like detailing out how good of friends they are. I jokingly said she pushed me into the goalie. It wasn't my fault. She's bigger than me, meaning she's stronger than me. Lindsay even knew I was joking around, and we hugged it out after the game. In no way, shape, or form was I calling anyone fat, body shaming. The Griffins and I have a great relationship, and even Lindsay knows my sense of humor. If this is my first and only warning, I'd like to contest it and talk to all parties involved, along with league commissioners, because this wasn't even the way it came across to a friend of mine, Jeremy Abdu. And so, quite again, like I saw that email fire back, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't think I can talk to you because I knew you were in panic. So then I went into pure panic mode and started sending Lindsay multiple text messages like, hey, I think he's really starting to have like a really bad time. Like this is not good. Like you really need to try to, you know, like, can you deliver the punchline already? Like it's killing us here. I just checked the timestamp. So the email started at 1:30. All right,
okay.
so the first email was fired off at 1:30. I think your response came probably at like 1:40. So it was literally a 10-minute window. And so, but you didn't just fire an email to us. You also, would you text him?
I sent Cooch the screenshot, and then I sent him my reply. And for a background on me, I've said a lot worse to people when I've played hockey. And I told everyone, if there was a real hearing, I was going to say I've said worse here, and I will say worse in the future. So if this is my only warning, I'd like
you're in trouble.
I wanted, you know, I'm going to say worse in the future, especially with the schedule that we had. And a lot of guys on the team like, hey, Jeremy, you were awfully quiet. You know, I was seriously, honestly, and I'm not lying, I was considering, all right, I'm going to wear a mouth guard just to keep my mouth shut so I don't say. I think I told you that I was thinking about going out and buying a mouth guard.
The hockey players muzzle
100%. I sent Cooch a text, and it goes, he says, I'm very mad, and very is a substitute word for something else. And he's like, I'm really mad.
Really mad.
This is not cool. I'm ready to fight. I'm going to fight somebody.
Go.
And he was in a meeting. He was in a meeting with his company.
Yeah, he was in a Zeros meeting, and so Cooch bounces guys out of his office.
Get out of the office, and he sent an email on my behalf, and I've always had a lot of respect for Cooch, and this email hit me right here in the heart. Like, it's so nice.
This is at 2:30. So 1:30, the initial email goes out. So this is an hour into the prank. Yeah. So the prank has been rolling for an hour now, way, way longer than I think anybody intended it to go. And so this is the email that comes across to Dwight. Dwight forwards it to me, and I think he sent me a separate text message and says, are we going to stop this now? Because Dwight was legit concerned that the next thing that was coming was an email from Jacksonville that says, hey, what do you guys do in issuing sexual harassment notifications? So here's the email that comes from Cooch that we got. Dwight, this was brought to my attention moments ago about the complaint Jeremy received. I urge you to have a conversation with Jeremy on the context and what was said. Though I wasn't there at the time of it being said, I was in the group of people following the game when Lindsay brought it up and laughed and said, what does your bigger than me mean in front of everyone? Stating this willingly in front of a large group, then filing a complaint doesn't sit right with me. The reference was her hitting him during the game, and I was told he said, stop hitting me, you're bigger than me. This wasn't a jab at her in any way, shape, or form. She's a good hockey player and isn't afraid of people. This is my favorite part, and this is most everyone's favorite part of Cooch's email. And this is, I'm going to slow down this part of every reading I ever do. This will be the slowest one. Abdu at this point is very broken from surgeries and 48 years old. This was a comment on just his body can't take any hits. She is stronger than Jeremy. I understand words can be changed around, but I believe the full picture needs to be heard first. I, again, I love Rob. I love it. But the fact that we have it on record, it's officially filed now in Japal um, um, director files that Abdu is broken, 48, and weak.
And decrepit.
Yeah, decrepit, weak and decrepit. And so best part of the whole day was probably reading Rob's email. It didn't satisfy me any. I still was very nervous for the rest of the day. So yeah, I get that email and immediately I have to get on the phone and call Rob. And I said, "Hey, Rob, look, I'm sorry. I didn't realize Dwight had put in there, talk to your captain." I said, "This is a joke. We're messing with Abdu. He's messes with everybody. And so this was our chance to kind of get back at him a little bit." And
accidentally.
And I said, "Look, this was kind of a Lindsay thing. She initiated it." And as soon as I told him that, he was like, "Oh man, this is hilarious. That's great. That's awesome." But he tells me that he basically, I was in the middle of a meeting and I walked out. I was so mad. I said, "Oh gosh, Rob, I'm so sorry." He's like, "No, it's okay. It's no big deal. Like, I was just in my office. I just told everybody to leave my office." And I said, "Oh, sheesh." So,
get
ruining,
out.
Seriously, ruining Cooch's business meetings, ruining Abdu's day, all because Lindsay wanted to get back at you. And so lo and behold, we find out. So it was, what was it, 3:00 before you finally got a phone call from Lindsay?
I got a text.
From Lindsay. So an hour and a half goes by and we find out the whole reason that Lindsay hasn't been responding to any of us is she's in the middle of a meeting with like 5 or 6 people and she's presenting the meeting. So the whole time her phone's just buzzing with messages from you, messages from me, emails going off back and forth, updates and all. She's like, "What the heck is going on?" She looks at her phone and realizes she's got like 47 notifications. She sees what's going on. And I think she must have immediately tried to just shoot a quick text to you that says like, "Hey, gotcha, like, it's a joke.
It wasn't supposed to go this far." Basically, I don't have it. I could look it up. But she said it wasn't supposed to go this far. But you two are pointing fingers at everyone else. Like, "Oh, Jeremy Holland was supposed to do this." And you're like, "It was Lindsay's idea." And
again, I didn't think of the prank. It wasn't me that was like, "This would be a great prank." Lindsay approached me and said, "Hey, this would be funny. You guys should get the directors to send him a message that says like, hey, you shouldn't." Lindsay's point was, "I didn't think you were going to send like an email. I just wanted you to send him a text." I was like, "Well, the text is very unofficial, Lindsay. Like that would have sniffed of a joke from the jump start. It always had to be an email." The big breakdown was I had no clue Dwight was going to go Google search a sexual harassment platform letter and then send that out. Like he just literally copied and pasted and sent it out. It was, oh my, I thought he spent 20 minutes typing up a nice formal letter. Lo and behold, he spent 30 seconds Google searching and copying and pasting.
Well, you said Lindsay was like texting you and she's like, "I can't tell him right now. I'm in a meeting," but she's texting you this.
I was like, "You're texting me. Just text him. Gotcha. Ha ha ha." Like whatever, so, move on.
What makes this prank so good is the day after I had a game, I went to the rink and I see Rossi in the coach's room. Rossi goes, "Hey, tell everyone about the prank." Like it reaches to the coach's room, so I have to tell everyone. And this is still fresh, right? This is like a couple days later, fresh. Then it turns into the A League talking about it. Then the 40+ league and everybody in the C League. So that's what made. And to this day, we still talk about it. Like when we went out to eat with the team, we were still talking about the prank a week, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, and we're talking about it now, almost like a month later. So it got me good. It got me good. I showed my dad the text and the emails, and I even sent my sister this email. She's like, "Oh, what did you do?" My mom was. I saw my mom, and my mom was like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "No, Mom. I just, I'm not like, I don't sexually harass or discriminate people, but to get that label just killed me. And then body shaming. And then literally when I was talking to her, it just turned out to be, I got the text. Oh, Jeremy Holland prank. No, it's a Lindsay prank. It's a Jeremy Holland prank. It's a Lindsay prank. But so let's talk about what we did to Lindsay 2 weeks ago.
Here's this, but hang on. Here's this whole we thing again, right? Like I was hang on, relax. All right, same exact scenario, right? We're leaving the rink. We're walking out of the rink, walking out the back door. There's a bag and sticks sitting on top of a table.
And I said, whose bag is this? Abdu
says, whose bag is this? I looked at the sticks and I said, I think it's Lindsay's because I recognize the sticks, right? Because they're 6.5 inches long, because Lindsay is the tiniest hockey player on the earth, and they're left-handed. So she's the only, if they were right-handed, they would be that other kid that plays, it looks like he's 12, Lee. I can't think of his first name. But anyways, yeah. So, but they're Lindsay's, okay? And so I proceed to walk out the back door, right on out the door. Abdu says, you want to mess with the bag? Okay, so who initiated this pranking?
Here's the thing.
It wasn't Holly. It was 100% Abdu.
You could have said, whose bag is this? I don't know. It's not like you haven't.
That would have been a lie. That would have been a lie.
It's not like you didn't lie to me before.
I just stretched the truth a little bit.
You could have just said, I don't know. I think it's Lindsay's. You could have said, I think it's Lindsay's, and I would have left it. But you said, Lindsay's.
Technically, I wasn't the
one. And I go, do you want to mess with it? And you go,
okay. I said, yeah,
do you want to mess with it? That sounds like a horrible idea. Yeah, okay. So then we're like, what do we do? So I just lifted up the table that was next to it, and we put the strap right underneath the table leg. And it took two of us to do it. So I text Lindsay.
As has been documented, Lindsay is super strong. And so I'm sure Lindsay just like lifted the table with
one arm,
fingers. Yeah. Just 2 fingers, was like grabbed her stuff and walked out the door like it was nothing. She may have just torn the table leg off when she pulled her bag up. I mean,
But we took a selfie. We took a selfie of us together. That was a great selfie too with her bag. But I sent her a text a couple days later. Said, "So I have a real question. What did you think of that prank?" And then she goes, her response was, "So real question. You saw what happened with the last time you pranked me." Just left it there.
Oh, man. So, yeah. So if Lindsay approaches me again about getting you back, I'm going to be a lot more cautious about joining in with her on any sort of pranks, solely because she cannot be trusted to pull the ripcord when it's time to pull the ripcord.
It's on her time.
Look, I don't care about your job. We're running a prank here. The prank has to end before someone has an accident in their underwear or calls the police and puts themselves on suicide watch. Yeah, like we can't do that.
I was pacing around the house.
I could just see like the police showing up because you called your own well check in. Like, you got to come check on me. I think I'm going to do something crazy, like hanging up the phone. Because I was panicked for you because I know how important hockey is for you. I know what it is being down here, taking care of your mom. Hockey's kind of like this great thing that you have. It's this wonderful outlet, the community, things like that. And so I was like, dude, if he thinks he's going to lose it, I was like he's probably balled up in the fetal position, like crying in the corner of his house
with the shower going off. But again, best prank ever pulled on me.
Yeah. Shout out to Lindsay. She was the brainchild of it.
Well, let's talk about Zach. Zach was like, Lindsay, I don't know. Like, serious Zach. If you guys listen to our podcast with him on it, he was very serious with a lot of his questions. But he was like, Lindsay, I don't know if you want to do that prank. You don't want to be, considered the girl that like complains about body shaming and sexual harassment. And she's like, relax, Zach. Mr. Serious here.
Oh my gosh, too funny.
But then, we were outside and a week later, 2 weeks later with the Griffins, and we're still talking about it. So again, this one was the best. I've had a couple pranks. The day that it happened, I said this is the top 3 prank that ever happened on me. But now this tops it all. Like, I don't know how. And look, I'm not challenging anyone to top it. Please don't. We're good. We're good.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, yeah. Let's prank. And here's the other thing. Ponton sends me a text in the middle of all this. I leave for a week and you're becoming a menace. And I go, Ponton, that's not what happened. And I sent him exactly. I said, here's what happened.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Ponton just chimes in a quick text. Like I said, I knew it was a good prank because of how mad you were afterwards. Like you were so mad, like you just couldn't let it go. And I was like, he's not mad, he's irritated that somebody else got him this good, and you didn't have a comeback for it. And so
100%.
that was hilarious.
100%. Usually, if it's out on the ice, I can just go ahead and just rip a couple of chirps. This one, I was just like,
No
give me my
chirps.
pacifier. Give me my pacifier, my blankie.
No chirps to be ripped on this one. Holy smokes. So, well, it was a wonderful prank. I'm sure there'll be more pranks to come. And I'm sure Lindsay will be right in the middle of the majority. So, oh man. Well, that was this show, boys and girls. We just wanted to give you a little taste of what Lindsay Sprints is capable of, because don't
You
mess
don't want
with
to
her.
mess with her. Do not.
Not only is she an animal on the rink, according to Rob Cooch and Jeremy Abdu, she is an absolute menace with pranks off the rink. She will come after you boys with zero regard for how you feel and what your underwear looks like when she's done with you. So get out of her way for sure. So thanks for listening to us, guys. We appreciate all the support. Keep listening. We'll have more pods coming in the future.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. Everybody. Thank you.